Claude Code is the best coding agent at the moment. In this video, I want to show you 7 tips of how to use Claude Code to make your code more reliable, to have your results that you want faster. So if you're interested, please continue watching. Let's start with some basics. So Claude Code doesn't know all your files in your repository, and it's your goal to show it where to look at. Of course, if you can just type a request to do something, it can find a file it needs to modify. It can probably find some corresponding files, but the output will be always better. You communicate to Claude that, hey, please modify this file, where this is where I have my database defined, etc. In order to do this, you can just use @ symbol. Let's say I have a landing page and I want to display some information on the landing page, which needs to be fetched from the database. In order to do that, I can just ask Claude to add task count to the landing page, and it will probably do the job, but it might not know that I have a specific folder with a lot of APIs and functions defined, which are already connected to my database. And it will be easier to just go there, reuse existing code, and the results will be better, and the code will be more reusable. And you will just not end up with a lot of duplicates in your code. Second tip is very important if you work with some kind of UI, web development or mobile development. So you can add screenshots to your code even though it is run in the terminal. Let's say I have this landing page and I want colors of text in my hero section to be changed to blue and green. What I can do is I can make a screenshot. I can then drag and drop the screenshot into Claude and say, change colors in the hero section of the landing page to green, blue. Because I tagged file, you can see that it doesn't spend tokens and resources to find this file, which will just make everything more efficient. And you can see that it changed the color of this text to green and blue gradient. There is a second way to add images to Claude. You can just press Ctrl+V on your keyboard. If you have your image copied, press Ctrl+V in the terminal, and it will add the image. On macOS, it is also Ctrl+V, by the way, not Command+V. The next tip I can give is use context responsibly. So when using Claude Code, you use underlying Claude models, Sonnet or Opus, and by default, their token limit is 200,000. So it means that there is a limit on the size of your conversation. There is a way to increase this to 1 million tokens if you need that, but it will obviously spend more resources, more API tokens, and you will just pay more or spend more subscription usage. So how I manage context? First, you need to know is that there is a context command, which will show you what's inside the context of your LLM, of your agent. When you type /context, you can see everything that goes inside the LLM. And it starts with some system prompt, and it goes with some MCP tools, which I will cover a bit later, custom agents, memory files, etc. So you'll see that how many tokens is used for what. So for example, because I just added clear, context is pretty much clear. So I spent just 91 tokens on messages, and I have a lot of free space in terms of tokens. But while the conversation continues, you'll just see that you have less and less free space. Less free space means that the quality will be worse. And you as a developer can do 2 things here. The first thing you can do is to run compact command, which will summarize your previous conversation into some shorter summary. So it will be used in the context of next requests, but it will spend way less tokens. I recommend to use compact when you want to continue conversation developing the same thing and you need this context, then please use compact. The second way how you can handle it is to run clear command. So when you run clear command, it will completely wipe off all the context. And I recommend using clear command each time you want to develop new feature or fix another bug. So when you switch context as a developer, always clear context for the agent. The next tip is very important if you want to think about reliability of your code. And the tip is like install Claude Code on your GitHub. Claude Code on GitHub can do two things. First, it can help you with your issues. So if you create an issue on GitHub, you can just add some title. You can tag Claude in a title or in the body of the issue, and it will just implement it in the cloud using GitHub Actions, and then create a pull request, which you then can review. The second thing Claude Code can do on GitHub is automatic review of every pull request you have, which is, in my opinion, very crucial if you have a lot of AI-generated code, so let AI review code at the same time. So every time you make a pull request, it will just create a comprehensive review of different aspects of changes in your pull request. In order to install GitHub app, just run this install GitHub app command and just follow the instructions. The next tip is very crucial when building anything using Claude Code or basically with any agent. So it's a good idea to have a file, some place where you have project description, where you define like what goes into which folder, where you have like your project goals defined, maybe some rules for AI. For Claude Code, this file is called CLAUDE.md. You can either create this file yourself, or you can just run init command in Claude, and it will create this file automatically. Once this file is created, you will see the content of this file, and you can obviously modify or ask Claude to modify anything that you don't agree with. When you develop the project, you usually have something you want Claude to remember for future. In order to do that, you can use a memorization feature. Let's say I want Claude to make auto tests every time it makes a change. So I can just ask it to remember it, and it will ask if I wanted to add to this current project, which will save this information in development memories in Claude.md, or it can save this information for all projects for this user, which means it will not be committed to GitHub, but it will be used across different projects. The next tip is about using MCP. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. It is an easy way to add external tools to your agent. Two of my go-to MCPs are Context 7 for adding documentation to the context. For example, if I want Claude to use latest documentation for some specific library, I can just use Context 7 MCP. And what I need to do is I need to add use context to every request, and it will fetch the documentation for the necessary library and add it to the context itself, and the output will be just better. Another MCP I heavily use is Playwright MCP. This MCP allows you to add browser access to Claude. So Claude can open links, it can make screenshots, it can fill forms, it can press buttons, and it is very useful for web development. I'll leave a link to both MCPs in the description, and I will leave a link to the YouTube video I created about using Playwright MCP. The final tip for today, if I could give just one tip, I would say this one. So the LLM works much better when it plans before execution. So in Claude Code, it is the same. It's always better to plan beforehand, and there are two ways to do the planning when you use Claude Code. The first way is to press Shift-Tab until you see Plan mode on. This mode will turn off all writing tools for Claude, so it will be in read-only mode, and you can ask it to just create a plan for something you want to do. Let's say I want to improve my landing page, and I wanted to come up with a plan for improvement. Okay, you can see that after some time, Claude created the plan. You can review it here, and then you can either continue with implementation of this plan, or you can ask Claude to change something in this plan if you don't like it. Another way how I prefer do planning with Claude Code is to ask Claude Code to generate a plan in Markdown format and save it as a file. It works even better when you want to implement more complex features or even whole projects, because you can use this Markdown plan as a memory, and you can use different sessions to implement this plan step by step instead of just saying, hey, implement the whole plan. For example, I have this plan for landing page improvement, and I can ask Claude to just implement priority 1 and mark all the to-dos as done here, but don't do anything else. And then at the next run, which can be a separate session, which is more efficient, we can just ask it to continue with priority 2. And again, mark all the to-dos here as done as soon as it implements them. This was all for today. I hope it was useful, and see you next time.